Slow cinematic drone movement gliding above the Amazon canopy. Mist rolls across treetops as sunlight shifts through clouds. Camera descends to the trees to reveal swaying vines, fluttering blue morpho butterflies, and a pulse of life matching a heartbeat sound under ambient jungle calls. Stretching across 9 countries, it holds more life per square inch than anywhere else on Earth. Beneath its canopy lies a world so dense, so alive, that even light struggles to find its way to the forest floor. In the golden hush of dawn, the jungle wakens. Macaws slice through the fog with flashes of crimson and blue. Howler monkeys roar from invisible towers of trees, their calls echoing like thunder from unseen realms. The air thickens with humidity and the perfume of wet earth, decaying fruit and blooming orchids. It is not a place for the weak. It is a place that tests everything: instinct, endurance, and will to survive. For those who step into its depths, the Amazon demands respect. A single misstep can mean death. The hidden venom of a fair-to-land snake. The silent glide of jaguar, or the deceptive stillness of piranha-infested waters. Every creature here carries a secret, a technique honed by evolution's ruthless patience. The sloth survives by stillness, its slow, algae-streaked body becoming one with the mossy limbs it clings to. The electric eel guards its territory with a jolt powerful enough to stun a horse. Even the ants, soldiers, farmers, and engineers, rule vast underground empires. But for the human explorers who dare to enter, survival is not instinct, it is knowledge. The tribes that call this forest home know this truth better than any outsider. They have learned to read the forest breath, to find medicine in bark, food in insects, and safety in the rhythm of nature. In the Amazon, life and death dance side by side, and survival is a sacred art. A team of explorers pushes their canoes through a narrow tributary of the Amazon River, swallowed by walls of emerald. Among them is Dr. Livia Morales, a biologist documenting undiscovered species, Mateo Cruz, a local guide raised along the Rio Negro, and Jonas, a survival filmmaker seeking to capture nature's raw essence. As they move deeper, the jungle grows denser, branches hang low, vines twist like serpents, and the soundscape becomes a symphony of unseen lives. Their goal is simple: to survive 2 months in isolation and uncover what lies within an uncharted section of the forest. But simplicity fades quickly in the Amazon. Within days, the air grows heavy and food becomes scarce. Their bodies itch from insect bites, and the ceaseless chorus of cicadas becomes a tormenting soundtrack to exhaustion. Livia studies the plants and notes patterns of survival in every leaf and insect. She learns from Mateo, who speaks of the forest spirits that protect those who listen. The Amazon is alive, he says one night by the fire, and she decides who stays and who goes. His words feel less like myth and more like warning. As storms roll in, trees groan like ancient giants, and thunder cracks through the canopy like cannon fire. Flood waters rise overnight, turning trails into rivers and camps into islands. Yet even in chaos, beauty reigns. Fireflies glowing like stars, frogs singing in perfect harmony, and jaguars padding silently through the shadows. Jonas captures these moments, his lens trembling not from fear, but from awe. The deeper they go, the more they realize survival is not about conquering nature. It's about becoming part of it. The Amazon is ruled by balance, a delicate equation of predator and prey that has endured for millennia. The jaguar, silent and shadow-clad, moves like a ghost through the undergrowth. Its rosette coat ripples with muscle. Its golden eyes glint with intelligence and hunger. For the capybara, the world's largest rodent, survival means constant vigilance. Every rustle could mean death. Nearby, an anaconda glides through the swamp, its massive body coiling like a river of muscle beneath floating lilies. Bove, harpy eagles patrol the skies, their talons capable of crushing bone. Every creature is both hunter and hunted, and each carries within it a secret code of endurance. Livia's team witnesses this primal dance one evening near a lagoon. A caiman ambushes a heron, snapping from the shallows in an explosion of water and wings. The team watches in stunned silence as the jungle swallows the moment whole. Later, they discover jaguar tracks near their camp, fresh, precise, and dangerously close. Fear seeps into their dreams. Yet the experience also deepens their respect. Livia begins to understand the deeper rhythm of the forest, the way the death of one life nourishes another, how decay becomes birth, how even in violence there is order. This is the wild truth, she writes in her journal. The Amazon teaches not cruelty, but balance. We fear it because we've forgotten how to listen. Days turn into weeks, and hunger drives the explorers further inland. There, they encounter something unexpected, a small indigenous village deep within the rainforest, almost invisible beneath the canopy. The villagers, descendants of ancient tribes, move with the forest, their homes built from palm leaves and woven vines. Their bodies are painted with red and black clay, symbols of protection and harmony. Livia learns from Tupa, the village healer, who teaches her about medicinal plants, bark that cures fever, roots that numb pain, leaves that repel insects. To these people, the forest is not a danger. It is a library, a pharmacy, a cathedral. Through their eyes, the explorers see what survival truly means, not domination, but coexistence. The tribe's children play beside pythons without fear. Hunters take only what they need and offer thanks before each kill. Their songs echo through the night, merging with the sound of frogs and wind, creating music older than time. But even this ancient harmony faces threats. Illegal loggers and miners creep closer each year, poisoning rivers and scattering wildlife. Livia realizes that survival in the Amazon is not only the struggle of animals, it is the fight of humanity itself to preserve the lungs of the planet. The monsoon arrives with fury. Rains hammer the canopy for days without pause, turning paths into torrents. Trees collapse under the weight of water, and snakes take refuge in the explorers' shelters. One night, lightning strikes a massive ceiba tree near the camp, setting it ablaze despite the storm. The fire rages, devouring dry branches and hissing against the rain. The jungle glows in red and gold, a terrifying, magnificent sight. In that moment, Livia feels both the beauty and brutality of this place, its power to create and destroy, in equal measure. The group barely escapes the flood that follows, losing equipment and footage. Yet in their near destruction, they find revelation. The Amazon tests them, strips them of illusion, and forces them to confront their fragility. Jonas, weak from infection, records his final words on camera. We came to study survival, but the jungle showed us something greater. Life here isn't about enduring. It's about belonging. His words echo like prayer against the roar of rain. When the storm finally ends, silence descends, a silence so deep it hums. The forest breathes again. New shoots rise from the mud. Birds return to the trees. Butterflies, blue morphos, drift through shafts of sunlight like living jewels. Nature repairs itself with divine precision. Livia collects samples and notes how quickly ecosystems revive after chaos. She sees a hidden symphony, the interconnectedness of it all. From ants rebuilding tunnels to orchids blooming on fallen logs, life sings its eternal refrain, rebirth. Yet even in this harmony, danger lurks. The team, now reduced and weary, faces starvation. They find solace in the lessons learned from the villagers, fishing with poison vines, setting traps for crabs, and boiling rainwater in bamboo. The Amazon no longer feels hostile. It feels like a teacher whispering through the leaves. Every creature plays its part, every root and droplet serving the grand rhythm of Surviva. Weeks later, when rescue finally arrives, only Livia and Matteo emerge from the jungle. Their faces are lean, eyes deeper, movements slower, yet peaceful. They carry journals, sketches, and recordings that will reshape the world's understanding of the Amazon. But what they truly carry are lessons that no data can capture. They have seen the pulse of life that connects everything, the intelligence of nature that outshines human arrogance. As their helicopter rises above the canopy, Livia looks down one last time at the endless ocean of green. The secrets of survival, she whispers, are not hidden in the forest. They are written in us, if only we remember how to live as part of the wild. Below, the Amazon stretches toward the horizon, breathing, shimmering, eternal, a masterpiece of creation still guarding its mysteries beneath the leaves. The helicopter vanished beyond the horizon, leaving behind a silence more profound than any sound. The jungle exhaled slowly, reclaiming its solitude, the faint echo of rotor blades fading into the endless sea of green. For a long moment, it seemed as if the forest paused to listen, to feel the rhythm of life resettle into its ancient tempo. Rain began to fall again, soft and deliberate, washing away footprints, cooling the scars of intrusion. The Amazon, immense and ageless, began to breathe in its full, unbroken rhythm once more. Beneath the mist, vines tightened their grip around forgotten tools, leaves covered traces of camps, and the wild reclaimed its sovereignty. Nature does not remember visitors for long. It swallows them, turning memory into moss. Deep beneath the canopy, the life pulse continued unseen. A jaguar padded silently across a fallen trunk, pausing to scent the air heavy with moisture. Her cubs followed, their paws sinking into soft mud, their eyes bright with instinct. Nearby, a sloth clung motionless to its branch, camouflaged perfectly in a patchwork of moss and shadow. The river whispered its endless song, carrying fallen flowers and secrets toward the horizon. The world here does not age in human time. It cycles, flows, transforms. Life eats life, death feeds life, and everything moves in a circle of renewal. Months passed, and the rainforest flourished again. Trees that had fallen during the storms became nurseries for new growth. Fungi spread their delicate white tendrils through decaying bark, returning energy to the soil. Macaws screamed joyfully across the open sky, flashes of scarlet and gold against the gray clouds. Below, schools of piranhas sliced through murky water, while otters played among the reeds. Every sound, every ripple, every movement was part of a grand symphony, one without conductor or pause, yet perfectly balanced. And within that harmony existed a truth that even science struggled to define: intelligence without ego, purpose without ambition, beauty without ownership. Livia, now back in civilization, found herself haunted by the forest silence. City sounds, the hum of engines, the chatter of crowds, the sterile hiss of air conditioning, felt hollow compared to the living heartbeat of the Amazon. Her skin missed the humid air. Her dreams replayed the sounds of rain on leaves, the roar of thunder rolling through endless trees. She had gone to the jungle seeking discovery, but what she found was transformation. The forest had stripped her of certainty and given her humility in return. She spent days reviewing her notes, her sketches, her footage, but none could capture the feeling of standing before a world so vast, so alive, that words became insufficient. In one of her recorded journals, she spoke softly to the camera. The Amazon isn't a place you survive. It's a place that teaches you how to live. Every insect, every leaf, every drop of water carries wisdom. It's not about strength or intelligence. It's about listening. Listening deeply enough to remember that we, too, are part of the system. Her voice trembled, not from fear but reverence. She had learned that humans are not the masters of nature. They are its students. Mateo returned to his village on the banks of the Rio Negro. He carried stories of spirits that guided them, of storms that cleansed and tested, of friendship between outsiders and the forest. The elders nodded, understanding the unspoken truth in his words. They too had always believed that the jungle decides who belongs. That belief had protected them for generations. Under a red sunset, he sang the old songs, his voice deep and resonant, mingling with the cries of howler monkeys and the crackling of firewood. The tribe gathered around, eyes reflecting flame and memory, the rhythm of their drums echoing the heartbeat of the land. Back at the Research Institute, Livia presented her findings. Scientists and officials listened in awe as she described undiscovered species, medicinal plants with astonishing potential, and ecosystems of perfect complexity. Yet beyond the science, her message carried an emotional urgency. The Amazon is alive and dying. Her footage of the rainforest's majesty contrasted with images of deforestation, burning clearings, and polluted rivers. If this forest falls, she warned, so does the balance that keeps our planet breathing. Her plea wasn't scientific. It was human. It was a call for awakening. Her film, Wild Amazon, Secrets of Survival in the World's Largest Jungle, premiered months later. Audiences watched jaguars hunt under moonlight, tribes sing by fire, explorers fight floods, and new life bloom after destruction. But beneath the beauty, there was a deeper resonance, a question. How long can we survive if the wild does not? When the credits rolled, the theater remained silent, filled with awe and guilt. People realized that the jungle struggle mirrored their own, survival against greed, ignorance, and time. In the closing scene, Livia's narration lingered over aerial shots of the forest. The camera glided above endless green, mists swirling like dreams over treetops. Rivers coiled like silver veins, thunderheads built in the distance, and lightning flashed like veins of light across the sky. The Amazon, she said, her voice soft yet certain, is not just a place. It is a living memory, a teacher of balance, a reminder that the wild within us must never die. The secret of survival is not found in conquering nature. It is in remembering that we are part of it. The screen faded to black, leaving only the sound of rain and distant thunder. And deep in the heart of the real Amazon, unseen by any lens, a new dawn broke. Mist drifted over the emerald expanse, parrots took flight, and the forest continued its ancient rhythm, untamed, eternal, breathing the same breath it had since the dawn of time. For the wild remembers what humans forget, that survival is not a battle, but a balance. The pulse of the jungle beat on, steady, eternal, alive. Months turned into years, but the echoes of the Amazon continued to resonate in ways that no human presence could erase. Livia Morales returned repeatedly, each expedition deeper, longer, and more immersive than the last. The forest had become more than a field of study. It was a living mentor, guiding her understanding of survival in ways textbooks never could. She moved silently beneath the canopy, her senses attuned to every sound. The distant splash of a caiman in a hidden lagoon, the low growl of a jaguar stalking through the undergrowth, the rhythmic hum of cicadas blending into the gentle rustle of leaves. Every encounter became a lesson, every observation a revelation, and every misstep a reminder that the Amazon was not a place to conquer. It was a force to respect. Mateo Cruz remained her guide and constant companion, a living bridge between modern science and ancient knowledge. His movements were precise, efficient yet graceful, as if every step had been choreographed by the rhythm of the jungle itself. He knew where to find food, how to avoid danger, and how to communicate with the forest in ways invisible to outsiders. The villagers taught them the subtle art of reading weather patterns, the language of birds, and the signals hidden in the rustling of leaves. Livia marveled at how seamlessly humans and nature could coexist when understanding replaced dominance. Survival, she realized, was not merely physical endurance. It was harmony, a respect for every organism that shared the forest. Life in the jungle was as unforgiving as it was breathtaking. On one expedition, a sudden flood forced the team to climb ancient kapok trees to escape rising waters. Lightning split the sky above, illuminating the dense green canopy in fleeting flashes, and thunder rolled through the valley like the roar of giants. Livia documented the scene, capturing the raw power of the forest, the vulnerability of humans, and the relentless persistence of life itself. She noted how each tree, vine, and root played a part in resisting the storm, bending without breaking, sheltering creatures small and large alike. Survival was a choreography performed not by individual species, but by the entire ecosystem in unison. Amid these natural trials, the Amazon revealed its hidden wonders. Livia discovered previously undocumented species. Tiny frogs with iridescent skin that glowed under moonlight, orchids that thrived on fallen logs, and birds with feathers that shimmered like liquid gold. Each discovery reinforced her understanding that the forest was a library of evolution, holding wisdom accumulated over millions of years. Even insects played critical roles. Army ants engineered soil and recycled nutrients, while pollinating beetles ensured the survival of countless plants. The more she observed, the more she realized that human survival depended not only on ingenuity, but on learning from these natural architects, engineers, and caretakers. Yet the forest also reminded them of fragility. Illegal loggers continued to encroach, their chainsaws shattering the sacred silence, and miners poisoned streams with careless disregard. Mateo guided Livia to sites where rivers once teemed with life, now silent except for the echoes of distant wildlife retreating deeper into the forest. Each scar on the landscape became a lesson. Survival required not only physical resilience but moral courage and advocacy. Protecting the Amazon was now part of the explorer's mission, a realization that human survival and the survival of the forest were inseparably entwined. Nightfall brought its own challenges and revelations. Beneath the star-strewn sky, the jungle transformed into a living orchestra. Fireflies glimmered like floating lanterns, frogs crooned from hidden pools, and nocturnal predators emerged from shadows with silent precision. Livia learned to move without breaking this delicate rhythm, observing from the darkness without disturbing it. Matteo explained that the night revealed truths hidden during daylight. The balance of predator and prey, the ingenuity of survival strategies, and the interconnectedness of all life. Sleep became a calculated risk, for danger never rested. Yet the forest offered a strange serenity for those willing to respect its patterns. One morning, after a torrential rainstorm, Livia and Matteo discovered a small grove of seedlings sprouting in mud enriched by decay. She knelt to touch the tender leaves, feeling the resilience of life in her fingers. This grove symbolized the eternal cycle of destruction and rebirth, the Amazon secret of survival distilled into green shoots rising from ruin. She realized that the same principle applied to humans: resilience, adaptation, and humility in the face of forces greater than oneself. The forest whispered lessons in growth, patience, and the quiet power of persistence, urging humans to remember that survival is a partnership, not a conquest. As their final expedition drew to a close, Livia reflected on the transformation within herself. She had entered the Amazon seeking discovery, but she emerged carrying something far more profound, a deep, visceral understanding of life's interconnected web. The jaguars, sloth, macaws, and caimans were no longer merely subjects to observe. They were teachers, co-inhabitants, and guardians of an intricate system that humans were privileged to witness. She knew that the legacy of the Amazon depended on every choice, every act of protection, and every effort to maintain harmony. Survival was not measured by dominance over nature, but by the wisdom to coexist with it. Flying above the endless green canopy one last time, Livia watched rivers wind like silver threads, sunlight break through lingering mist, and distant thunderstorms illuminate the horizon. She felt the pulse of the wild beneath her, eternal and unbroken. She understood that the secrets of survival were not hidden. They were always present, embedded in every leaf, every creature, every breath of the forest. The Amazon had taught her that life, in its purest form, was a continuous act of balance, a lesson humans must carry forward if they hope to endure. With a final glance, she whispered a vow to the jungle: to protect, to learn, and honor the untamed heart of the wild that had reshaped her forever. The forest remained below, vast, mysterious, and eternal, its secrets alive in the whispers of wind, the shimmer of river, and the heartbeat of every living thing. And as Livia's helicopter disappeared into the sky, the Amazon continued its timeless symphony, an unending testament to resilience, adaptation, and the sacred art of survival. Years had passed since Livia Morales first ventured into the depths of the Amazon, yet the forest remained as enigmatic, vast, and alive as ever. The lessons she carried within her were no longer just personal. They had become a mission, a guiding principle in every action she undertook. She had returned countless times, each journey deeper into the labyrinth of green, revealing new layers of life, adaptation, and the delicate balance that governed all living creatures. Every expedition was both a test and a tribute, a demonstration that the jungle, while unforgiving, was also nurturing, teaching those willing to observe, listen, and respect its rhythms. The Amazon's pulse remained constant. Rivers surged with silver currents, carrying fallen seeds and petals toward unknown destinations. A jaguar prowled through dense undergrowth, muscles rippling under rosette-patterned fur, golden eyes glowing with alert intelligence. Macaws streaked through the sky in brilliant arcs of red, yellow, and blue, their calls echoing like living bells across the canopy. Sloths moved slowly, their moss-covered fur blending seamlessly into the tree limbs they embraced. The forest hummed with life, from army ants constructing intricate colonies underground to piranhas slicing through river waters with lethal precision. Each organism contributed to the vast symphony of survival, each role vital, interdependent, and harmonious. Livia, accompanied once again by Matteo, navigated the river tributaries with practiced ease. Matteo's movements were deliberate, rooted in a lifetime of intimate knowledge. His eyes scanned the forest for danger, signs of animal movement, and clues left by the shifting seasons. He whispered instructions in the indigenous language, and Livia followed, attuned to subtle cues she had learned over years of immersion. They built temporary shelters from palm leaves and vines, fished using traditional methods, and boiled water over small bamboo fires. The survival strategies were not taught. They were inherited, observed, and practiced in rhythm with the jungle itself. To outsiders, it might appear arduous, but to those who had learned to listen, it was a dance as natural as the river's flow or the wind rustling through leaves. Night brought both vulnerability and revelation. In the absence of sunlight, the forest transformed into a realm of shadows and whispers. Frogs crooned from hidden pools, insects chirped in syncopated rhythms, and nocturnal predators emerged from the undergrowth with silent precision. Livia learned to navigate by moonlight and firefly glow, developing an instinctual understanding of the terrain. The jungle taught patience. Every movement mattered, every sound was significant, and every decision could determine life or death. She observed a jaguar silently stalk a capybara near a flooded clearing, muscles tense and eyes locked, demonstrating the primal intelligence that had governed survival for eons. Witnessing these moments reinforced the sacredness of balance, the necessity of restraint, and the humility required to coexist with such forces. In a secluded valley, the explorers discovered an untouched grove of giant trees, older than memory, their roots twisting like serpents across the forest floor. Here, Livia found rare orchids clinging to mossy trunks, and tiny amphibians with colors that glowed in the soft moonlight. Streams carved paths through mud and fallen leaves, feeding pools that reflected the sky in liquid silver. The jungle had preserved this place, as if aware of its intrinsic importance. It was a reminder that survival was not merely about living through storms or predators, but about ensuring that life itself could persist, regenerate, and flourish for generations to come. The village they visited deep in the forest provided lessons that transcended science. Tupa, the elder healer, guided them through rituals and plant studies that revealed the depth of indigenous knowledge. Leaves could heal infections, roots could numb pain, and flowers could repel dangerous insects. But the wisdom went further. It was about understanding interdependence, respect for life, and humility before the wild. The villagers taught that humans were not separate from the forest. They were participants in its eternal narrative. Livia understood that their survival, and indeed humanity's, depended upon recognizing and honoring this truth. One morning, after a torrential downpour, Livia and Matteo discovered a grove where saplings pushed through saturated mud. Each tiny green shoot represented the resilience of life, a promise that even after destruction, the jungle would renew itself. She knelt, brushing her fingers across the leaves, sensing the pulse of growth and regeneration. Here, she realized that survival extended beyond immediate existence. It encompassed nurturing, protecting, and contributing to the continuity of life. The Amazon secret was revealed not in dramatic confrontations or near-death experiences, but in its quiet, persistent, and relentless ability to endure. As they prepared to depart, the aerial view of the forest reminded Livia of the immensity of her responsibility. Rivers wound like silver threads, sunlight glinted off mist, and distant thunderstorms painted the horizon with flashes of white and gold. Birds took flight from treetops, and the shadows of ancient giants stretched across the undergrowth. She knew that the jungle's survival was entwined with humanity's choices, that every act of protection mattered, and that the pulse of the wild was a heartbeat she was committed to safeguarding. Matteo's eyes met hers, conveying shared understanding. They were not mere visitors. They were guardians. Flying above the endless green, Livia whispered to the wind, "The forest lives, and so must we, in harmony with it. The true secret of survival is not in conquering, but in belonging." Below, the Amazon breathed, eternal, untamed, and resilient, a living testament to balance, adaptation, and the sacred art of coexistence. The pulse of the jungle, the heartbeat of the wild, continued unbroken, echoing the eternal rhythm of life itself.